Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the program today, the brand new Attorney General of the great state of Nevada. Ray Hagar has the rundown.
Thanks, Sam. Las Vegas lawyer George Chanos has just been appointed the new Attorney General, and already he is breaking with tradition that might not set well with Northern Nevada voters.
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Alfredo, Alonso, Michael Hackett, and Howard Rosenberg. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
In part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Corporations moving to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center require reliable power, fiber optic communication, and clean water sources. And yet, there's another amenity we're very proud of here at TRI, rail service. So far, we've built over 2 miles of railroad track, and another 3.6 is under construction. When companies need to transport freight, we're going to help them move it quickly and efficiently. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The resort at Red Hawk offers you 2 great dining choices. Experience David's Grill and Sports Bar or the Steakhouse at Red Hawk. The Steakhouse has received the Wine Spectator Award of Excellence based on a diverse selection of fine wines. To accompany the wines, the Steakhouse serves certified Angus beef steaks in a variety of cuts, fresh fish, chicken, and pasta dishes. For fun and casual dining, come to David's Grill and Sports Bar. David's is open 7 days a week, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The resort at Red Hawk. Always the right choice.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community.
But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, just recently, Brian Sandoval, the Attorney General of the state of Nevada, stepped down because he's taking a federal judgeship. And Governor Gwynn said that he was going to appoint somebody who would run in 2006 for that position. And he appointed George Chanos as the new Attorney General for the state of Nevada. Welcome to the program, Attorney General.
Thank you, Sam.
Well, as most of the people in the state know absolutely nothing about you, let's do what we would do with anybody who is announcing for office, even though you're already in the office. Tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would.
Well, I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada. I attended kindergarten, grade school, high school, graduating from UNLV here as student body president in 1980. I then worked for United States Senator Paul Laxalt in Washington, D.C. prior to going to law school. I then went to law school in San Diego. I ended up working for the San Diego office of a large 700-lawyer New York law firm. I stayed in San Diego from 85 to 95 and then came back to Las Vegas with my wife in 95, opened up our own law practice, and began building our own law firm here in Las Vegas from 95 to 2005, and then was asked by the governor if I would assume the responsibilities of this office during the next year, given General Sandoval's appointment to the federal bench. And then run for election in November of '06, and I agreed to do that, and I'm very happy to do that, and very excited about it.
Okay, why do you want to be Attorney General?
I think that I'm uniquely qualified to manage the responsibilities of that office.
How?
By accurately interpreting the law. My 20 years of practice as an attorney in all areas of business litigation, I think makes me the best qualified candidate to assume that role. We've got over approximately 175 boards and commissions throughout the state of Nevada. The Attorney General's office acts as the legal advisor to the executive branch of government and to the vast majority of these boards and committees. And they need and rely upon good legal advice to do their jobs and to do what they need to do for the citizens of the state. And I feel I'm the best qualified person to provide that legal advice.
Mr. Chanos, you told my colleague Ed Vogel at the Las Vegas Review-Journal that your primary residence and your primary office will remain in Las Vegas. Now, this breaks a long-standing tradition that the Attorney General live at least in northern Nevada. How do you think northern Nevada voters will react with you staying in Las Vegas?
Well, first of all, number one, my purpose in serving in this capacity will be to represent the entire state of Nevada, not just southern Nevada and not just northern Nevada. That's first and foremost. Secondly, I will have a residence in Carson City. I will have an apartment at least during this next year in Carson City, and then after the election may well purchase a home in northern Nevada, either in Carson or in Reno. Secondly, the Attorney General has a primary office in Carson City, and that will remain the primary office of the Attorney General. We also have a very large office in Las Vegas. In fact, the number of attorneys in the Carson office are virtually equivalent to the number of attorneys in the Las Vegas office. I have an 8-year-old daughter who happens to be attending the same school that her mother attended, and it's important for my family that she not be pulled out of school and moved. So we will have a primary residence in Las Vegas. We will also have a residence in Carson City or Reno, and I will travel back and forth between those two offices. There's a lot going on throughout the entire state, and I need to be representing the entire state, and that's exactly what I intend to do. Okay, your wife Adriana now is the Attorney General's consumer advocate. She's going to give up her job because you are now the Attorney General. Why does your wife have to give up her career, sacrifice her career for yours? Well, first of all, my wife has already resigned as Chief Deputy Attorney General in charge of Consumer Affairs. And she doesn't have to do anything. She's choosing to do that because my wife and I have been married for 21 years. We have a true partnership and an incredible relationship. And my wife's position is the same as my position, which is that we as a family need to think about what our family can do for the state of Nevada. And my wife's decision in that regard is that the best thing that our family can do for the state of Nevada is to have me serve as Attorney General for the state of Nevada. So I'm not having my wife do anything. My wife is choosing to do that. My wife is more than well equipped to make her own decisions. She's made that decision.
Spoken like a very wise man. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this timeout.
Nevada Newsmakers program. Call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Happy Hour at the Peppermill.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And back on can't even say it. Back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're interviewing the Attorney General of the State of Nevada, George Chanos, and it's a pleasure to have you on the program, sir. How long before Governor Gwin made the announcement did you know that you were his pick?
I didn't know until very shortly before he actually made the announcement that I was his pick. He was very encouraging. Months before the announcement came, we had talked. And Governor Gwin was very excited about the fact that I was willing to assume that role, and I was very excited about the fact that he would consider me for that role. But he told me that he couldn't make a final decision at that point, and I only learned of his final decision shortly before that decision was publicly announced. But he had been very encouraging from the beginning.
How up to speed are you on the issues of the day for the Attorney General's office? For example, Yucca Mountain. That's the biggest fight we have on a federal level. Are you up to speed on that?
I'm as up to speed as I think anyone could possibly be, having been in office for all of 1 week. I can tell you about Yucca Mountain. I can tell you that there are 103 facilities across the country that are producing nuclear waste. I can tell you that they produce 2,000 tons of waste each year. I can tell you that Yucca Mountain can only assimilate 3,000 tons per year. Licensed at its full capacity, it'll hold 77,000 tons. There are approximately 50,000 tons spread throughout the country in storage and stockpiles right now. By 2012, which is the target year for it to open, there would be 60,000 tons. Which means that if 2,000 tons are being produced each year and it can only process 3,000 tons, you're only going to reduce those stockpiles by 1,000 tons per year. It'll take 60 years to do that. With what will be in existing stockpiles on the day that it is anticipated to open, if it ever does open, we will pretty much be tapped out of the 77,000 ton capacity. I can tell you that the concept of shipping nuclear waste across this country through 36 states by rail, by truck, or by boat, through major cities, through major ports of this country is a very ill-advised concept on a national policy level. I can tell you that those shipments will pass within a half-mile radius. Over 100,000 shipments will pass within a half-mile radius of 100 million Americans. I can tell you that there was testing at Aberdeen, at the Aberdeen testing facility by the U.S. government, that indicates that a shoulder-launched missile fired by a terrorist could penetrate one of these 100-year tasks that they're planning on shipping this material in. I can tell you that it would be a national catastrophe for that to occur in places like the Holland Tunnel or downtown L.A. or downtown Las Vegas or Reno. I can tell you that it's a very ill-conceived idea that we will fight in every way possible with every resource of the state of Nevada through my office.
I have to say, Mr. Attorney General, if that's your answer after 1 week on the job, I'm scared to think how long the answer would be if you've been in it for a year. But we'll carry it. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. That's a lot of information.
Sure.
Mr. Chanos.
Well, I hope this federal government gets scared as well.
Mr. Chanos, I have a question for you, and it's difficult to ask this in a tactful manner, but really you have no experience in state government. You've never ran or managed a major law firm. You haven't held office since you were the student body president at UNLV. So I'm wondering, why did Governor Gwin appoint you as Attorney General? I'm wondering, sir, how much money you donated to the Gwin campaign in both '98 and '02.
Hardly any, frankly. I don't know that. I don't know that I even wrote a personal check to Governor Gwin, and if I did, it certainly wouldn't have been more than $500 or $1,000. So I didn't donate a lot of money to Governor Gwin, if that's what you're asking. And why did he pick me? Well, I like to think that he picked me because he felt that I was the best person for the job and the most highly qualified lawyer for the job. You talk about administrative experience or political experience. First of all, I think it's rather refreshing that I don't have a political background or baggage, and that I'm not a professional politician. I've never run for public office. I don't consider that a negative. Frankly, I consider it a positive. I'm not beholden to any special interest group. I'm completely independent. My only client in this matter is the people of the state of Nevada. I have no one else to serve, and I think that's a wonderful thing to bring to this office. I think what's most important and what's most necessary to bring to this office is the skills of a good lawyer. And I'm a 20-year practicing lawyer, and I've practiced at the top of my profession. We will be coming out with opinions in the next couple of weeks on major issues affecting the state of Nevada and over the next year. And these opinions need to be accurate in their interpretation of the law. You don't need an administrator to interpret the law, and you don't need a politician to interpret the law. You need a lawyer who's uncompromising in his search for the truth and his respect and fidelity to the law. And that's what I am, and that's what Nevadans will receive from me. You know, really, in the Attorney General's race, Nevadans are choosing their lawyer. Who do they want as their lawyer to represent them on the major issues affecting this state? I believe that when Nevadans hear me speak about the issues, when they understand my background and qualifications and compare them to any of their own lawyers or anyone in the field, they'll come away feeling that I am absolutely the best person for this job, just as Governor
Attorney
Gwynn
General,
did.
that's where we have to leave it. We look forward to having you back. You are certainly not a shy man, and we'll look forward to it. Thanks for being here. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers.
Thank you, Mr.
after
Chanos.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, just 10 minutes east of Sparks. We're proud that Walmart and other Fortune 500 companies have chosen Tahoe Reno Industrial Center to relocate their businesses. We have sites from under 5 acres to well over 500 acres, and with all of the amenities that every successful corporation requires. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, and we're building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The Nevada Beer Wholesalers encourages the responsible consumption of beer. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association are sponsors and participants in many community-based efforts such as school education programs, safe ride home, recycling programs, alcohol-free after-prom and graduation parties, safe voting campaigns, and designated driver programs. They are family-owned businesses employing 2,000 Nevadans. They also collect and pay the state excise tax. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association, delivering more than just beer.
The resort at Red Hawk offers you 2 great dining choices. Experience David's Grill and Sports Bar or the Steakhouse at Red Hawk. The Steakhouse has received the Wine Spectator Award of Excellence based on a diverse selection of fine wines. To accompany the wines, the Steakhouse serves certified Angus beefsteaks in a variety of cuts, fresh fish, chicken, and pasta dishes. For fun and casual dining, come to David's Grill and Sports Bar. David's is open 7 days a week, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The resort at Red Hawk. Always the right choice.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And as usual, we have a great Power Pundit panel today. Alfredo Alonso is here with Lionel, Sawyer, and Collins, Mike Hackett with Alrus Consulting, and Howard Rosenberg, a Nevada System of Higher Education Regent. Pleasure to have you all here. Obviously, over the weekend, things went nuts with Mayor Oscar Goodman's de-thumbing comments and your comments that were added into the mix. And today in the Las Vegas Review-Journal, there are a couple of letters I'd like to read, because rarely do people who write letters to the editor actually get them to be given to the person. So this one comes under the heading, Hat Racks Occupy More Than One Public Office. Politicians and public officials often make comments about others without taking into consideration whether such comments apply to them as well. Nevada University System Regent Howard Rosenberg suggested that Las Vegas Mayor Oscar Goodman use his head for something other than a hat rack after the mayor suggested the thumbs of graffiti artists should be removed on television. Could it be that Regent Rosenberg, an art professor at the University of Nevada, Reno, was defending artists even though they were lawbreakers? There have been many times when I wondered if some of those serving on the Board of Regents used their heads merely for hat racks. Because of word count constraints, it would be impossible to talk about some of the problems that have confronted the regents, such as open meeting laws, pay raises, and conflicts of interest. The results of recent student testing might suggest we are turning out large numbers of heads that will be used for hat racks. In summary, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Louis Frederick.
Would you like me to respond to that?
Absolutely.
Mr. Frederick is confusing issues somewhat. I never equated graffiti with art. Never said that graffiti artists were artists. I don't give a tinker's damn what it is that we're talking about that gets sprayed on walls. It is not murder. It is not mayhem. It is irritating. It is upsetting. It can be expensive to remove, but it's hardly worth cutting someone's thumbs off. Would Mr. Frederick suggest possibly the death penalty for a traffic ticket? Grow up.
You know, one of the things, Mike, that I was amazed at was that what Mayor Goodman said was received positively by about 99% of the people who responded, either in emails to my office or to phone calls to the mayor's office. The response around the world, literally around the world, has been universally positive.
I agree, and I think that is totally off the wall as well. I can't see what the basis for that rationale is, why people would think that this is an appropriate form of punishment for something, like Howard said, that is not anywhere near in the nature of serious violent crimes. Yes, this is a nuisance crime. Yes, it's an invasion of private property, but please, that is a case of the punishment not fitting the crime at all.
Well, but isn't this really just the population rising up and saying, you know what? We are sick to death of this stuff going on, and even though we might not literally agree, but do something.
Oh, absolutely. And Oscar, truthfully, probably didn't mean it either. I mean,
it's the third time he'd said it.
Sure. But I think it's more figurative than anything else. I mean, I think the public's frustrated with something they can't get their arms around. I mean, it's something that doesn't seem to stop. It gets worse. So I don't think that the public in general would actually condone the de-thumbing, but I think it is symbolic of the public's frustration with this type of I guess at the end of the day, this is something that no one's willing to condone anymore.
The thing that gets me is, and I've learned it since becoming a regent. I've been at the University of Nevada, Reno for 40 years. I've been screaming, ranting, and raving and carrying on like a banshee for all those years. It never bothers anybody. It's Howard doing what Howard does.
Howard being Howard.
I became a regent, and all of a sudden, it carried a lot more weight, and it scared the living daylights out of people. That's not good. By the same token, there comes a point where, you lose it sometimes. I owe the mayor an apology. I really do. That was a cheap shot. And if my students did that on a paper or something like that, I would take them apart. So I might suggest to the mayor the same thing that I am trying to suggest to myself. Be a little more reflective before we pop off.
There was one, and I'll just make this last point on this particular part of this. One last letter from Jeffrey Puckett to the editor of the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Mayor Oscar Goodman has suggested that those who deface our freeways with graffiti should have their thumbs cut off on television. I think our mayor has the right idea, but the wrong appendage. We should catch these punks and turn them into girls. Okay, now, the more serious part of this, it was in the paper today. The more serious part of this, though, is as we look at the governor's race, a recent poll came out from Zogby that shows that Mayor Goodman has amazing numbers. And it's starting to appear to me more and more that he is really looking at getting into this race. Do you get the same sensation? And with remarks like this, a populist?
No, I still don't believe that if the mayor, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think the mayor would be a very, very strong candidate. I think his local appeal and his appeal as the happiest mayor in the universe, I believe now, is much greater at that local level than it would be at a state level. Once that state...
You know what? One of our staff members was at Rotary yesterday, and there was universal applause with 200 people at Rotary in Reno.
I don't disagree.
Saying, right on.
I don't disagree, but I think when you run statewide, you become a national candidate to a great degree. And I think everything you say, I think that thumbing comment might come back to bite him later.
But you know, there's so many things. There's so many things though that he said in the past that should have come back to have bitten him already and taken him out of the position that he's in, or at least served to maybe neutralize that position a little bit. But it just seems with every statement he makes, no matter how outrageous, his popular appeal, and dare I say maybe his credibility, keeps going up for some perverse reason. And you know, I think ultimately, depending upon how the ego drives this, I think is really what's going to determine whether he gets into it.
Has an ego?
No, well, a little bit.
I think there's a difference between popular appeal and credibility. I really, really do. I don't think that the credibility with statements like this is going to be there. I truly don't. I think we need to be more careful. You know, think about it for a second. Let's say you got two opposing groups who tag each other's property. What happens when they hear something like this? Okay, the mayor says it's all right, let's go do it. I mean, that's dangerous. And carry it to its logical conclusion. I disagree with you, you disagree with me. Isn't it wonderful we live in a country where we're not in any danger of losing our tongues?
And I'm going to make the point here that I think that Oscar Goodman may well get into this race. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Nevada Newsmakers. Brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Play over 480 of the hottest slots and video poker games. Enjoy hot times and sizzling food specials at Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. Watch your favorite game on one of our jumbo high-definition plasma TVs. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. Or sample the best hot and cold sandwiches in the Whistle Stop Deli. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
Yeah. I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers online at NevadaNewsmakers.com. Coming up on our next show, presidential historian Clay Jenkinson and Mike Dillon.